GPAC Nation. I'm Commissioner Corey Westrup, and welcome to another football season in the Great Plains Athletic Conference. Very excited to get things underway this fall for our 2021 campaign. We have another football school this year within the GPAC with the addition of Mount Marty University, bringing our football schools to 11 and 10 total games within the league. First games get underway on Labor Day weekend. Couldn't be more excited for the pageantry and excitement of football Saturdays to return within the GPAC. Coming off a great year where 3 teams made the NAIA Football Championship Series playoffs and the NAIA National runner-up also from our conference. It's now time to hear from all of our coaches around the league and get their insights on the upcoming year.
Hello, my name is Brian Mistro. I'm the head football coach here at the University of Jamestown. Just wrapped up day 5 of camp and looking forward to talking to you guys a little bit about the Jimmies going into 2021. Big things going on here at Jamestown. Renovated our stadium, the Charlotte and Gordon Hanson Stadium at Raleigh Greenoak Field. It's going to be really cool, and obviously we've graduated into the turf game, so hopefully everybody enjoys coming up to play the Jimmies up here in the fall. Offensively, we're looking at bringing back our starting quarterback, Cade Torgerson. Cade needs to take the next step in our program and become a leader and a playmaker and the guy that we think he can be. Running back, we're looking at some running back by committee stuff. Frankie Ingraldi's got some carries. We like the way he's being pushed by guys like Chris Saylor and a couple of other young bucks that we're got coming up as well. And so that kind of committee group's going to be a big part of what we're doing running back wise. Wide receiver wise, there's guys that have caught some balls for us that are coming back. Javon Bowie, Stevie Justice. There's going to be a couple new names hopefully here with Michael Mad Ewan and some guys. Marcus Giles has been around for a while now, 3-4 years. And so the wideout game's looking all right for us. And we're hoping to keep taking the next step in our process to make sure that we can become a better team here in this league in the GPAC. Tight end, we're looking at Nick Davis as a senior for us from Wayzata, Minnesota. He's a guy that's been in our program now going on 4 years, and he's a leader, and he's a guy on the field and off the field that I rely on. There's some younger guys coming up from him, and Jonah Leitz and Anthony Terso, guys that are going to push to make playing time as well. Up front, we bring back 2 guys that got some significant time last year, and Jared Frank and Matthew Stewart. We need to take the next step up front to make sure that we're a better football team. That's been a big challenge to us all fall camp. And making sure that we're pushing those guys to be tougher and be better at the game of football that they love so much. So that's something that we're looking at improving on offense. On defense, you're going to see Vincent Corral in the middle. Big dude. He's been around for a while now, going back-to-back all-conference years. We're expecting big things from him again. We got a Jamestown guy in the middle here, Aaron Mack, playing inside linebacker. That's seen a lot of playing time, and hopefully he can start taking the next step as a leader in our program, being an upperclassman. In the back row, you're going to see a guy, Brooks Canfield, that's moved around a different couple positions for us. Hopefully he's found a home at free safety, and I expect big plays out of him. He's a big athlete, guy that I think can make plays for us. He's a very smart football guy, and I want to see some big stuff coming out of him this year. Special teams-wise, Isaac Miles, an all-conference punter for us. He can change the field with his leg. He's got a big leg, and we hope that we can use that to our advantage. And Noah Vogelpohl will be doing our place kicking duties. So hope you guys enjoy watching the Jimmies play football this year. We look forward to seeing how the GPAC goes, and wish everybody a great rest of the day.
Hi, I'm Shane Ledecky, first-year head coach at Briarcliff University. Really excited to be heading into the season and get back to playing football. We have an influx of talent returning to our roster, as well as a bunch of new guys that we're really excited about. Coming into this season, we'll see a lot of fresh faces on offense. We're in the midst of a quarterback battle, and that'll shake out again over the next week, and we hope to make a decision going into that first game. I think we're really talented in our skill positions. We returned 2 running backs that I think are going to help us a lot in Stanton Lee and Dawson Frisella. They're really yin and yang with each other. One's kind of get a ball on the perimeter and make guys miss, where Dawson's going to try to run through your face and is really physical, which I'm excited about. At receiver, I think we're very talented, very fast. We're long, very athletic. We return Aaron Okoro and Ryan Cote, who are both 6'3", 6'4" plus kids. I think Ryan Cote would probably challenges one of the fastest guys in our league, which we're excited about. And then Spencer George on the inside, along with Kobe Johnson. With that crew, really excited about Tim Brown, who's a freshman from Florida, who's had a really good camp so far. And then at running back, Asante Anglin is a name to keep an eye on in the backfield. He's from Indiana. At our offensive line, we got a mixture of incoming guys and returners. Andre Johnson's a returner coming back for his final year, who's been a staple on our O-line. And we're really excited with the freshman from Tennessee, Joseph Katurwa, has done a great job for us so far. Defensively, I'm really excited about how those guys are playing and rallying to the football and playing hard, and they've really rallied around Coach Tenenoff and what he's trying to do schematically. Returning up front and really as an outside backer, we have Asi Tapua, who I think is going to be a force to be reckoned this year. And then you add him with MJ Montgomery as well, who's coming back as an all-conference player, and we're really excited about what we have on the perimeter. Other than that, we're going to have to kind of be player by committee on the interior and see who can really step up this last week of camp. At linebacker, a lot of fresh faces that I think are really going to help us. One in particular is freshman Braden Pomier-Williams from Omaha, Nebraska. He's physical, he's coachable. He's done a really good job picking up on what we're trying to do. He'll return in the middle with a couple of veteran guys that we're really excited about, that have really been good leaders for us defensively. In that DB group, that's probably our most veteran group in terms of playing experience. You got Pat Gassant coming back, who's played a lot of football. Mike Green at safety has played a lot of football. In return with a lot of other guys. And we'll have some new guys in that group that I think will really help us, that we're extremely excited about. And then special teams are going to be really important for us, something that I'm a big believer in. So we spend a lot of our time at practice doing that. And we'll have Jonathan Branner at kicker. And really excited about Christian Mendoza, who's a local kid that can really boot the football. So excited to compete in this league, excited to get the season kicked off against Waldorf in a little over 2 weeks.
We are excited to kick off the 2021 football season at Northwestern. We have great energy and great excitement after our playoff run to the national championship last spring. Returned a lot of experience from that playoff run. Offensively, we returned 9 starters, headed up by 2-time GPAC Offensive Player of the Year and NAI Player of the Year Tyson Koima at quarterback. Feel really good about the skill positions that we have coming back offensively. Wide receivers Cade Mosier and Michael Story return, as well as both of our top rushers and running backs Connor McQuillan and Logan Meyer. Offensively, we also return all 5 of our starting offensive linemen. So looking for just big things from our offense this season. Defensively, we also return 9 starters, led by All-American Noah Van Toff. Also return all GPAC players Brett Mosier, Parker Fryer, and Jake Lynott. Special teams-wise, we have our first-team all-conference kicker back Eli Stater, as well as first-team all-conference punter Jaden Snyder and returner Michael Story. Excited to kick this season off and get things underway at Northwestern. Great experience coming back from last season and a great foundation to build upon, and looking forward to big things this year. Excited to kick off our season on the road against Presentation College in a couple weeks and just get this season underway. It's going to be a great season in the GPAC. There's a lot of great talent returning from top to bottom, and week in and week out it's going to be a slugfest, and you're going to have to be ready to play your best football, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
Well, we had a good off season. We're as a staff, we feel like we've got an organized plan, and we feel good about our schedule and our preparation. And so right now we're just at a point where we're trying to execute what we set in motion last January. And I love the leadership on this team, and it's been a really welcoming environment for the new guys to come into and be a part of. And so we haven't really accomplished much. You only really are gauged by Saturdays with this stuff. So I feel like we're on track though. Well, we need to improve pass pro. We need to be holistic running backs, and so we need to be a little bit more attuned to some key details. They did a good job of executing some simple fundamental things. We need to prove some durability. I think if you shake hands with Jonah, I think you'll see a guy who's taken that call seriously. He's put on some good weight, and he's maintained speed, and so we feel really good about his progress and the progress of the rest of that room. And we got a great running back room, just great young men who are pushing each other hard and cheering each other on, and it's a fun group to be around. I think it's exciting to have Lane back. We're also excited about our whole group of upperclassmen linebackers. We feel like we're deep at that position. We have a luxury of having a lot of guys that are back for fifth-year senior years, and you can really tell the development that has taken place in the weight room and in those guys. I mean, it's something that we've seen a ton of progression from where they were at freshman year to where they're at now, and so it's been fun to kind of see that development. So it's Lane, but it's everybody. It's that whole group. Yeah, well, we have a great staff alignment, and Grady Cook is just a phenomenal offensive line coach. He's a great teacher. He was an education major here, and he was really good with those guys. And if you find a good old line coach, you do everything you can to keep him, and he has been very good for us. And he and Coach Corbin work really well together. And so it's been exciting to see him be able to step into a full-time role. Demarie Martin has done a great job of, kind of shouldering more of the defensive effort. And so we're working on getting the guys as prepared as humanly possible. And I put a lot on our coaching staff. We have really high expectations of how we teach and how we present the game of football. And so we're aware of the potential of this group, but it's on us as coaches to get all that out of them. So, I think that this is, as far as small college football conferences, I don't know if there's a better conference than the GPAC. I think a team has played for or won the national title the last 3 years from our conference. I don't know how many of the other conferences sent 3 teams to the playoffs. It's a good conference. You got to be ready every week, and nothing will change this year with that. I mean, there are no low down games. You got to be on your toes for everything. So we will out hit our opponents. That's something that we strive to be a disciplined team and a physical team and a relentless team. Our guys, we pound in them a lot about accountability, toughness, and authenticity, and we really do believe, like, this sounds like coach talk, but if you do the simple things at a really high level, it's usually going to lean your way on the scoreboard. And so when you fail to do those things, the scoreboard doesn't really agree with you. And so we're focusing on one thing at a time, one day at a time, and we're just going to keep doing that and keep pounding the rock and keep coming back for more. And we're excited about the season. I really feel good about this group, but August, everybody's excited. We're going to see what happens when things start flying, and then we'll find out what we're really made of.
Hi, John McLenny, head football coach here at Mount Marty University. First of all, I'd like to start off by thanking President Mark Long and Athletic Director Andy Bernardo for the opportunity to be the head football coach here and going into our first season of competition. Lucky to have a few assistants here with me. Heath Zook, he's our O-line coach and offensive coordinator. Coach Josh Lewis, he's an offensive coordinator I brought from Kansas Westland and quarterbacks coach. And Dylan Heck, who is a defensive backs and special teams coordinator. I have 3 grad assistants. MJ Peranio helps with D-line, Ethan Anderson, wide receivers, and Nick Donahoe, who helps with linebackers. A little bit on our players now. We have 97 total players going into our first year, representing 16 different states, 22 kids here from South Dakota, most kids coming from Texas, though. We got 27 total from Texas, but 40 total players from the Midwest. Bringing in 2 seniors, 9 juniors, 15 sophomores, and 70 total freshmen, so we'll be pretty young going into this first year. Offensively, we got to make sure that we possess the ball, got to run the ball here in the GPAC to make sure that we are successful there. Defensively, obviously, got to make sure we stop the run and make sure that we are assignment sound for so no easy plays given up. competing here in the GPAC. It is very rich tradition and well respected throughout the nation. So definitely have our work cut out for us this year. We want to make sure, as our first team coming out here, that we are tough, smart, and resilient. But when it comes down to it, we got to make sure that we're going to do what our best players do well. Excited to get things started off here September 4th against Dakota Westland, and super excited to be part of the GPAC. Thank you.
This season are again in that higher tier. We got a lot of guys coming back with only graduating 6 seniors last year, and so we got a lot of returning players that really want to accomplish a lot more than we've been able to accomplish the last few years. And I think that starts with putting yourself in the top half of the conference and trying to compete for a playoff spot in the postseason. And obviously that's a lofty goal and something that we got a lot of work to achieve that. But again, I think it's says a little bit about our guys and our team and the work that they're putting in and what they want to accomplish. Especially for our senior guys that came back for their senior year, or 5th-year guys that are back. I mean, they came back for a reason, and they want to accomplish something and get us back on track and get us to where we've been in the top half of the conference and hopefully putting ourselves in a position to compete for a playoff spot. But defensively, the last part of the year was really the first time that we could put all of our pieces defensively together. With our linebacker group and Cody Reichelt and Sam Kretschmar, Josh Gary and Jacob Schaefer. The last half of the season was the first time that those guys were all together, based on injuries and COVID. So defensively, we're looking forward to our linebacker group and, a defensive line that brings a lot of returners. We only graduated 1 defensive player, off our roster last year, and so we feel pretty good about that group. And obviously, we want to improve in a lot of areas. It's not like we, pitched 11 shutouts by any means. So there's obviously work to do, but a good group of guys that are leading that group, and all starts with that linebacker group for us. Yeah, I think before I even talk about the quarterback position, it's Spencer Negebauer is one of the guys that graduated, unfortunately for us, and a tremendous player and an honorable mention All-American type of player, and so we got some production, to fill in that role. But the quarterback spot specifically with Zach Lester, another one of our seniors graduating offensively. I think we have a good group of quarterbacks on our roster right now. We've got a good mix of young guys. Keel Nelson is a returning player for us that has started games in the past, and then Austin Lee was a true freshman for us last year that really developed throughout the spring and the summer and now this fall camp. And so Keel and Austin are probably the front runners at that position for us right now to be in the starting role. And obviously Keel has some starting experience and some game experience, and Austin's done a tremendous job of learning the offense and putting himself in a position to be in that conversation of making us make a decision as to who our starting quarterback should be. I think the number one thing with a lot of returning players back is you don't have to go find a ridiculously big recruiting class to fill your holes. And when you don't have to do that, we have 40 new players on our roster, with about 65 or 70 returning players. Those new guys get a lot of attention from those older players, and they got a lot of guys that they're able to reach out to and talk to and ask for guidance, ask for help. But they also, as young players, they have a lot of great examples that are being set for them at all positions. We have some younger guys at different spots, maybe offensively, but there's always the 1 or 2 guys that you're counting on in each position group. Some position groups are, like I said, our linebacker group, maybe our D-line group, maybe have more experience, more examples that guys are following. But I think that's the biggest thing for us is that we have a good group of young guys that, number one, the first thing that they did was they just decided, hey, we want to work and we want to get better. And now it's, what do you need us to do? And so I think they're very receptive to that. Everything that we've asked them to do, they've done. It doesn't mean they've done it perfectly, but the other thing about those guys is they're willing to fix it. They're willing to make mistakes and fix it. And that's really all we're asking them to do. And I think the relationship that our young guys have had with our older guys, and our older guys providing a great example of how to practice, how to watch film, how to take care of your bodies, and now the young guys doing that, I think that our older guys appreciate when they tell a guy something, or hey, do it this way, and then they see a young guy doing that. I think that helps with the feedback portion of things as well. So it just makes our team a lot stronger, and I think we got a good group going in the right direction right now.
We're excited about the 2021 Midland Warrior football team. Our coaches and players have worked extremely hard this offseason, spring ball, and into the summer. Really excited about our coaching staff. A couple new additions. Coach Ben Dixon is now our new offensive coordinator. Quarterback coach has done an outstanding job leading our players and coaches. Coach McLaughlin on the offensive side as well, longtime friend of mine, coached 15 years at Wayne State, was the head coach, came out of retirement to coach, so really excited about Coach McLaughlin. Coach Hawkins, running back coach, and then Ross DeZuris is back as defensive line coach, does an outstanding job with those young men. We really feel very confident about the three phases of football. We have Dalton Tremaine back at punt return, kickoff return. He was an All-American last year, and we know he's going to do great things as well this year. On the offense side of the ball, we have, you could probably say 7 to 8 starters are back, but we're getting great competition across the board. Moses Hicks is a returning first-team All-Conference player. Max Wold is back as a second-team All-Conference running back. Then we have a number of returners back. River Walker is back at quarterback, but he's being pushed by E.J. Stewart and Jake Ashby. Feel really confident with all those three guys. So we expect big things from our offense. On defense, we have 9 starters back from a very talented defense. It was our best defense statistically, holding teams to 19.2 points per game. To put in perspective, last year I believe Alabama held people to 19.8 points per game, and they won the national title. So I think it could be a strength of our team. Hopefully all 3 units are going to end up being a strength, but on defense it starts up front with Trevor Halvich, a 2-time first-team All-Conference player, is back. At inside linebacker, Zach Akamo is back, was a first-team All-Conference, and then also Charles Barn was a first-team All-Conference player and honorable mention All-American. Excited about the camaraderie of this football team, the closeness. In all my years of coaching, this is the best, what I call player-led football team. Guys are taking ownership. They're being great role models for the incoming freshmen and transfers, and really excited about this group that have come in as transfers and freshmen. Again, we are picked 4th. That doesn't mean anything to us. It's what we finish at the end. I would say in my 6 years now being a head coach here at Midland, this is the most talented football team and is also the closest football team that I've seen. And hopefully when you add it all up, it'll be a season that Midland Warrior football fans can remember.
Well, it's football season again. Coach Penner here, and just very excited to talk with you guys today a little bit about our 2020 football season. It feels like this season really crept up on us with how we ended things in the spring with our first ever playoff appearance. But we are just really excited to be back here in training camp. And as you can tell from my voice, we are already in the middle of training camp now. I'd like to talk just a couple minutes about this season and this team. It's a new team. We have some key starters to replace, and especially at quarterback, that always changes things when you have a turnover in quarterback position. Also some key guys on defense as well. We've been recruiting hard and developing well, and I believe that we're ready to reload those positions and to gain production out of those spots. And so I'll talk a little bit about our offense first. We're really excited to have Levi Jungling back as a receiver. He'll be back for his 5th year. Eli Bolden and Hayden Large and Jaden Heisman were big contributors last year in our passing game, and we are looking for them to contribute significantly this year. Our running back position has always been strong, and we anticipate it'll be the same. Look for a running back by committee. We have a lot of guys that we want to get the ball to at that position. We also have our entire offensive line back, so we're very excited about that, especially given how strong we were up front last year. For the first time in a long time at Dordt, we do have a battle for the quarterback position, and that's going to play itself throughout our training camp. Tyler Reynolds and Ethan Thomas are battling for that position, and we've got a pretty full stable of qualified quarterbacks behind them as well. Defensively, it's been fun to see our growth over the years, and we anticipate that this record-setting defense we had last year will continue to improve. We have a very veteran secondary, and I think that's where it all starts. Nathan Kabongo is a fifth-year senior who's back at our corner position. Jalen Placide is a fifth-year senior back at safety. And Mino Jones, Abe Stace, Grant Hickson, those are guys that saw a lot of action in the last couple of years. Our linebacker group is young, but they have a lot of experience. We did play a lot of our freshman linebacker group. A lot of them got to play in our playoff game and in our spring season. And those guys are battling right now for playing time and for roster spots. But very, very talented group of linebackers. Our defensive line will be anchored by Jessup Leakey, Sam Andrews, and Logan Fanning, among others. And so it's a group that's played a lot of football and has playoff experience as well. So like I said at the beginning, this is a new team. There's new leadership. We will announce our captains here in the next week or so. But it's a team full of great leaders. It's also the largest squad we've ever had. And so right now we're just in training camp having a blast, getting our guys ready for the year, doing our best to stay healthy like everybody else before we kick off against Midland on September 4th.
You know, obviously we're excited about the guys that we got coming back. You know, we largely return everyone that we've had, you know, last year. And you can get excited about that. The reality is that's just kind of the way college football is going to be this year at lower levels. It's just going to be Groundhog's Day. It's a repeat of kind of everyone back. The guys that we do lose is we lose the two defensive ends. Gustav is right now with the BC Lions. Seth has gone on to become a police officer. Jake Knoll has gone on to become a police officer here in Sioux City. So, you know, we lose those three veteran players, you know, just because it was their fifth year. But most everyone else is back, and we're off to a great tempo. Without question, you know, last year's season didn't end the way we want. And there's a lot that you can look back, you know, that's positive and that we can build on and the things that we can do going forward. But hopefully our guys can come back with a sense of intensity of wanting to do more than what they did last year. I think Joey had a great offseason. I think Joey came back strong. You know, he's been a 2-year starter for us. He's also coming off the only loss of his career here at Morningside College, which, you know, the reality is you learn a lot out of a loss, though you don't ever want that to happen. And so I'm seeing just some growth out of Joey right now. He's really stepping up as a leader and the maturity, and I'm expecting an exciting year from him. One of the things he has coming back is just reading AJ and their maturity as wide receivers and their leadership and what they're able to bring. But, you know, Sione, Jack, Jake, Zach Norton, Schwaggart, all those guys here in the early going have shown that they've made some great strides. And that goes back to, I think, playing the spring. And that standpoint, it's been a real positive for him. Matt Strecker stepped in last year and did well. Anthony now is kind of, you know, he's the alpha now. He's got to be the starter. And, you know, he's slimmed down this offseason. I think he's had his best offseason he's ever had. And a lot of times guys do that, and that's what you want when they see him moving that role. So I think we're going to see great things out of Anthony. We do need somebody that's going to have to come in and play for us. I like, you know, Kobe Noble from up north here. You know, he's coming as a freshman looking good. Ryan Cole had a great high school career at St. Ansgar. And then we got a young man, Mike Miner, that's coming in. It's been away from football for a couple years. So one of those three is going to have to step up and play for us. You know, we looked at our defensive back situation, and we definitely need to improve in that area. And I think we've got three that are transferring in that can help us. Davian Bradley and Linnell Boyd are safeties and corners. They can play both, that have played quite a bit in Division II and are excellent football players. And Dijon Walls from St. Louis as well at corner. And I see all three of those guys being in the mix for us at defensive back. And then obviously Josh Simmons from Lewis Central, and then was at Iowa Western. Had a great high school career there, outstanding receivers transferring in on the offensive side. The GPACs had an outstanding year. I think Dort and Northwestern are outstanding football teams, both deserving of top 10 rankings, and my guess is they're going to come back that way. And I'm going to say this about I don't know about Concordia Doan, and there's been some shakeup, and we'll be seeing how it works. But I think Midland's a top 15, 10 team as well, and they've played that way. So the GPAC's become a very competitive conference.
Excited to get going this year with the 2021 season. Last year was a tough year with COVID. Very difficult to build culture, so that was one of the things that we focused on here in this past spring. We carried 72 returners through the spring, through our spring ball, etc. And I think we had it was a real good time for us. So we spent a lot of time working on our culture, and we continue to work on it. I like where our team is at right now. A lot of excitement, a lot of positive energy, and we're excited to get started September 4th against Briarcliff. Guys that we return, we carried. There were 6 guys that came back that were seniors that came back because of the COVID regulations. So that was great to see. Our off-season workouts were very good. Our summer workouts, the voluntary workouts, the kids did a great job with it. So we're excited to go. Defensively, we return 10 of our 11 starters from last year. We have multiple all-conference performers in there. Joaquin Robinson's coming off an all-conference year last year, coming back as a senior. Riley Homolka is coming. He was an all-conference player as a junior. He dealt with a lot of injuries last year. Damon Brown in our secondary is an all-conference performer in the past. Cedric Gooch, all-conference performer in the past. Cooper Bates this past year. Riley Hightoff was an honorable mention All-American and All-Conference. So, defensively we feel that 10, 11 starters back. We have a real good nucleus. Not only do we have those starters back, but we also have good depth back. So we're hoping that we can take off running with our defense right away. It's an exciting group. So offensively, we do return 7 or 6 guys that have started offensively for us. Most of those guys up in our offensive line. 4 of the 5 guys that are back on campus right now have started at some time for us. Aiden Mendoza, Lane Cornwell, Logan Herman, and Caleb Anderson are all guys that are coming back that have experience. So we're hoping that another year of experience into the conference and in playing college football is going to be beneficial. We also have Isaiah Celestine is going to make a return this year. Last year he was on and off. He had some injuries, and then with the way that our season went, he did decide to come back. So he was a preseason All-American punt returner from a couple years ago. A very fast kid, a lot of explosion. Brian Lambert comes back to us at wide receiver, and he started last year. Good speed. I like what we have going on with our wide receivers. Our running back. Our backfield situation, I should say, kind of the same thing. We have quite a few guys coming back. Frazee Wynn is a kid that's coming back from last year that saw some action. Adam Wasserman is going to have a different role. He played quarterback last 2 years for us, but he's going to be playing a different role in the offense. So that is good to see. A lot of experience just playing college football. Gamble Moore is a guy that comes back in the backfield that has good speed. He was one of the leaders in the conference with kickoff returns this past year. So I think we have some depth at our running back. I think we have some potential of good running backs. So I'm very excited about that group. Quarterback spot is we're going to have with Wasserman moving to a different position. We are going to have a first-year starting quarterback. There's 2 guys that are kind of leading the competition right now. Zach Witters and then Vaughn Martinez. They've been battling it out here through our camp, and they'll continue to do so. So. I'm excited about what they bring to the offense. Specialists, we also return all of our specialists. Our long snappers and Josh Lasaskas returns, our punter, Mason Krause returns, our kicker, Caden Tice returns from last year. Also returning a kicker with several years of experience is Jeremy Henning. So we're looking to improve. I think our game there with our punters and our kickers is going to be better moving forward this year. And also we return some good weapons, good speed at returner. Isaiah Celestine is back, as I said, and he'll be returning punts along with Brian Lambert. But as Isaiah they'll both be returning kickoffs as well with Gamble Moore. So I think we have some experience there. I think we have potential of some explosiveness. We just got to make sure that we're all on the same page and blocking for those guys up front.
We're looking forward to the season. Excited with a mostly new coaching staff. I came on board, was fortunate to be hired in December, and came over from being the athletic director at Doane, and really excited to get back into coaching. It feels like a good fit for me, and I've gotten to know the team through spring football, and obviously in the fall as camp has started, we're getting to know each other even better. But it's a great opportunity. We hired a new defensive coordinator about a month ago named Kyle Suttles, and he was a D coordinator at a high school locally who I've known for a little while, and he's proved in a short time to be a really, really good fit. And so it feels like we're building our staff in a really positive direction. Looking forward at the season. We have some returning starters that I think are going to come in and be in a really good position to set the tone for the team. We'll have some young players in some positions as well. It'll be a mix of some vets and some youth. But I like the direction that we're going. Defensively, coming through spring football, it was apparent that with the returning experience that we have on defense, that I think our defense at the beginning of the season should be a strong unit. I think offensively, we're going to be finding our way a little bit early due to some youth, but I think we have some young guys who are going to prove instrumental as we get going, and we can find our legs a little bit and see what we want to be and how we want to hang our hat on offense. But defensively, in the defensive line, we have a few returning starters. Chance Bolin, Harrison Uday on the inside at the defensive tackles, Beasley Iaguaro, defensive end, who are all three of those guys are really, really physical, active players in our defensive front. Titus Clay at linebacker was an all-conference player last year, and he's had a really nice offseason and looks to be poised to have another really good season for us here. And Tyler Pulaski played safety last year and moved to linebacker in the spring, and I think he's going to be also a player that's going to be noticed on Saturdays. Carlo Terrell at corner has had a good camp, a really good camp so far. He's a junior, but he's a 3-year starter at this point, and he does some really nice things there. Offensively, our strength is in our offensive backfield at running back. There's no question. We've got a nice, excuse the pun, stable of running backs. Tyree Neesmith is the returning starter and had a nice season last year, had a really nice offseason, and he's ready to go. And Dalen Farrow is another running back who's been injured a little bit the last couple seasons, but he's had a real nice offseason and appears to be ready to go. And then Brett Simonson is a running back who played quite a bit last year. He backed up Tyree, but played quite a bit and did some nice things. Also had a good offseason and is having a good camp. So we've got some experience, a couple younger running backs also that might make a dent as we get into the season. Johnny Zamora at quarterback is the returning starter, and looks like he will be the starter likely going into the season. We've got some competition, got some young guys coming in who are still learning some things that could compete with John, but early on that game experience I think is really going to put him out front for us. The offensive line is a mix of vets. We've got a couple senior starters, and we'll have a couple new starters who will be sophomores. So it's a mix of the old and the young in the offensive line. Wide receiver, same deal. We had a few graduate last year, have some younger guys coming in and some even younger guys as freshmen who look like they have the ability to be playmakers. They'll have to learn the offense quickly, but there's going to be some really nice opportunity there. And then Jason Bockel returns as our place kicker, and he was also the punter last season. And Jason did a really nice job last year, especially with his place kicking duties, and we expect him to carry the special teams at least as the season begins. So we're excited about it. We open at Northwestern Iowa, defending national runner-up. So there's no question that that's going to be a game that we will be tested immediately, and that's on the road. And then we come back home against Dort, a national playoff team a year ago. So we've got a couple of nice ones right out of the gate, but we're looking forward to getting out on the field with the 2021 Broncos and showing everybody what we've got and the direction that we're going moving forward.
Thank you to all our head coaches for sharing their insights about the upcoming fall season. We're excited to get the year underway. As mentioned, 10 games in the GPAC football schedule this year with 11 football schools playing. Game number 1 coming up on Labor Day weekend around the conference. Earlier in August, our preseason football poll was released within the conference, and Morningside was picked to repeat as the league champions in 2021. They were followed in the top 3 by Northwestern and Dort, those 3 teams making the football championship series playoffs last year. Next in line in the conference in the preseason poll was Midland, Concordia, and Doane. That was followed by Dakota Wesleyan, Hastings, and Jamestown, and then Briarcliff and Mount Marty in the conference preseason poll. Go to GPACsports.com for more on the conference, and on Twitter we are at GPAC Sports. I'm GPAC Commissioner Corey Westra, wishing you all a great season within the conference.